and gentlemen, welcome back to Power Vacuum. I'm your host Belmont, and I'm coming at you today with a review for LOLLIPOP CHAINSAW RePOP. There's a couple reasons why I'm doing this review. The number one reason being that I want to. The number two reason being that there seems to be a lot of companies out there that review games that are avoiding this game, and several of them that are just giving it negative reviews for seemingly petty and unnecessary reasons. I guess it's because this game doesn't adhere to the social norms that they view in their tiny little circles. You know, the rest of the world moves on. People in the industry of Hollywood and game reviewers and magazines and all that live in like a little tiny bubble where they just talk to each other in circles and reaffirm their own beliefs. But I'm going to start with this post on X from Yoshimi Yasuda, and it says, "We have finally been able to release LOLLIPOP CHAINSAW RePOP uncensored. I am proud that we have been able to revive LOLLIPOP Chainsaw, a cult game that has been lying dormant due to copyright issues, as a modern action game. The core content of RePOP is an original mode that faithfully recreates the original version scenarios, script, gore, expressions, cutscenes, direction, character design, motion, comic-style character introduction images, costumes, achievements, etc. On the other hand, for those game users who are not so keen on gore, we have also prepared the RePOP mode, which expresses damage effects and a pop art style, so we hope you will give LOLLIPOP CHAINSAW RePOP a try." I did give it a try, and I tried the RePOP mode just to see it, and it is over the top ridiculousness. And this is the RePOP mode right here, which we're seeing is some gameplay footage that I captured. This is I'm not sure if this is during my second playthrough or... Yeah, this is my second playthrough. This outfit was called the... oh, geez. It was something goofy, like casual sexy or something. But there's still a little bit of gore. Like, you still see some blood, but there's this, like, Lisa Frank style rainbow glitter overload that like this. I don't know if this kind of stuff was in the original game or not. I never got a chance to play the original. I think I played it for like 15-20 minutes on a demo, and I was like, oh, this is not what I thought it was, because when I first heard it, I thought it was... I don't know what I thought it was going to be. I didn't think it was going to be a gory action slasher kind of game. Like, yeah, like normally when you cut off a zombie's head, it spurts blood out instead of sparkles. So that's what RePOP mode does. It gets rid of the gore, but the original gameplay is still available. You can still play it with all the gore in its original style. This, I just wanted to see what it was like, which I'll probably go back and play it with the original style to see how different it looks, because I imagine it's got to be less vibrant, or maybe these scenes aren't even in it. I'm not sure. Maybe these are like killer hunter scenes. I don't know. This is all just RePOP mode because I was goofing around. But this game is actually rather quite fun. They kept all the original heart and soul of the game. It's just as dirty and raunchy. There are some surprising scenes in it that I didn't know. It is not kid friendly. Like, the aesthetic might appear kid friendly, but you know, aesthetics can be pleasing, apparently, or pleasing. Aesthetics can be deceiving, because there's this one scene in here that, like, I don't remember exactly what they say, but you run up to some zombie football players and they scream something about butt fucking you, and I was like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. And maybe neither did she. No, I'm kidding. But the basic premise is you are the member of a... well, they just call them zombie hunters. A zombie hunter family. Like, your dad hunts zombies. You and your older sister and your younger sister. You play as Juliet, the antagonist, or not the antagonist, the protagonist, and you have This is yeah. So as you see, the head attached to her, that's her boyfriend. He gets bit by a zombie, so she chops off his head and performs a magic ritual to save him. And it's it's part of a game mechanic. You do stuff with him. You have like special attacks and stuff. And yeah, that's it. That's the premise. Like, well, I guess that's not the premise. That's the basic heart of the premise. The story is that the zombies came because some goth kid in your high school summoned a bunch of zombie gods, I guess. It's like 5 different zombie gods, or four or five zombie gods, and you have to go through each stage to fight them. The prologue is like you don't know what's going on yet. You find out at the end of the prologue. Then it's the 5 stages and then the final boss, which is like this giant zombie monster. But it's a fun game. Like, it's got a lot going for it. It's your classic like Dynasty Warrior style hack and slash game with a little bit of action adventure elements, but it's very linear. There's it's not like a world to explore. You just kind of follow the set path they give you, and you go. It's the story is straight up. Each sequence you go through and do all that stuff. And I definitely enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. I thought I was going to enjoy it, but like I really like this game. I had a lot of fun playing it, and if I were going to rank it, I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. And how my rankings work, I don't know if I've ever explained this, is I start every game at a 10, and then I take off points for specific things. So I took off half a point right away because you can't save whenever you want. That's just one of my personal things. Like, games have been able to save whenever they want for a long time, since before this game came out. Hell, like Skyrim, Morrowind, Fallout games, they let you save right before you die. You could load a game and just outright die as soon as the game loads. And hang on, battery low. Get that message out of here. All right, but it's unable to do that. It's like checkpoint saving. Checkpoint saving is not my most hated form of saving. That would be save point saving, where like you have to find a save point. Like, that shouldn't be a thing now that memory cards are no longer a thing. When like you had memory cards, it made sense to find a save point because it was like you had to do a lot time in this things. It's a classic JRPG thing to be like, oh, here's a save point, save. I'm over that. I'm way over that stuff. I just want to be able to hit start, save my game. So half a point gone right there, 9.5. Then I got to give it another half a point off because I'm playing this on Xbox, so it did have some very minor technical bugs. Now, from what I understand, if you're trying to play this on Nintendo Switch, it is virtually unplayable. It is like a buggy nightmare. And my only response to that is stop trying to play major game titles on Switch. Okay? Nintendo, to date, has not been able to do excellent ports of games. Like, I looked at the Arkham Asylum footage for Nintendo Switch, and it was just a nightmare. Like, the frame rate dropping was insane. If you're not playing a Nintendo first-party title on Nintendo Switch, it's not going to be a good experience. I've never seen anybody have one. It just appears that this is another instance in that case where you shouldn't be playing non-first-party titles on the Nintendo Switch. But on Xbox, PC, PlayStation, the only major, not even major, the minor glitches that I ran into, and that's why I'm only giving it half a point because they were kind of minor, was in one sequence, if you're chainsaw dashing during a Reaper countdown. I call them Reaper countdowns because like the death symbol pops up and like a Grim Reaper appears, and if he reaches the end, if you're not out of that area, you just outright die because like something happens, like the dynamite explodes or like something grabs you, or in this case, a building collapsed on me. But I was chainsaw dashing when it collapsed, and instead of killing me, I didn't die, but the screen faded to black as if I died, and I could hear myself running around, and I could hear like the start menu open and all the stuff happen, but the screen was just black, so I couldn't see what was going on. I had to like reload the last checkpoint. I lost like maybe 2 minutes. Then there was a bug. There was an audio bug in one of the boss fights where I did a chainsaw move, and it just continued the chainsaw sound throughout the rest of the fight, and there was no other audio. So there was that. And then the other bug, I'm going to interrupt myself real quick. This is another half a point I took off right here. This game has an obscene amount of quick time events. Like, I understand product of the time. Normally I would take a full point off for quick time events if you have a bunch of them in a game, but I only took half a point off because this came out at a time when quick time events were very common. And then where was I? Oh, the third bug was in not the very last fight, but one of the fight right before the last like zombie deity that you fight. If you activate your Nick power when the zombie's in a mech, it just stops and you can't actually initiate a killing blow. See this, like it says finish at the top of the screen here? Those are killing blows, and you initiate them. And this guy's great. This is a great little cameo. That character Zed there was voiced by the lead singer of Mindless Self-Indulgence. So that was cool little thing. Yeah, and here's the chainsaw dash that really screwed up that one death scene. But, you know, where am I at right now? 9.5, half a point off for those 9, half a point off for the quick time events, 8.5, and then I give it a full point off for being just a remake, because I have complained a lot about games being remade in the past, especially like PlayStation games. PlayStation 5, I believe, has more remake titles than it does current and modern titles. It's absurd, and I complain about it all the time online. If you find me on Reddit, if you find me on X, I'm probably somewhere complaining about a remake if someone's announcing one. So I got to give it a full point off. I got to stay true to myself. It's a remake. You lose a whole point for that. While I never got to play the original, this remake does let me play it in a, you know, more higher fidelity, better frame rate version. So I understand the appeal of remakes. I'm just tired of them. But that put it at 7.5, and that's really where I ran out of problems with this game. I didn't have any other major issues. I thought it was a fun game. The story was straightforward. Like I said, it's very linear. This is the full map. Like, Killabilly's the final guy. So yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bosses. Oh, it makes a pentagram. I'm a tard. But yeah, so there's that. The 5 bosses make the pentagram. You get to the Killabilly at the end, who looks like Elvis, I guess. Yeah, that's just a giant zombie Elvis. He's huge too. He's like a giant, like 50 feet tall or some shit. Maybe even taller. It's hard to tell. But yeah, it was a fun game. They kept all the raunchiness in. Here's an example of the raunchiness. This was a what was it called? The seashell bikini. And it's one of like the unlockable outfits. It's one of the more expensive ones. And I was like, okay, there's some jizzle. Wow. You can see where my mind's at right now. It's got some serious jiggle physics. They kept those in for people that were wondering. And then I remember why I clipped this specific scene. Yeah, there's the jiggle physics. Look at the mirror in the background. I don't know if the original game had the mirror in it, or if it did, if it was this detailed, but like this is like top tier mirroring for a video game. Like, I was very impressed with like how detailed the mirror was. So it's got to be like actual like what is it? There's the multiple types of mirrors. One of them's live rendering, where it actually renders the game image and the mirror image at the same time. That's what this has to be. So this is probably an example of how like they upscaled the game to modern standards. And this is the Nick special kind of thing. This is what freezes that last boss fight. And I think it's because it has this whole cutscene to itself. So while he's transformed, he does a bunch of actions, and he just gets stuck to where you can't finish the game. Like, you just can't kill him. So you have to restart the fight, which I tested it. It happened to me twice in a row, and then I was like, all right, let me see if it is the Nick thing triggering it. And then I tested it 2 more times. It was, in fact, that. But yeah, this game's great. Like, if you have a PlayStation or an Xbox, PS5 Series X right now, I think it comes out for the PS4 and Xbox One in November, but don't quote me on that. I think I read an article that it said that that was the time. Yeah, this is me just checking out the mirror to see what it's capable of. But yeah, in November you can play it on the older consoles. Don't buy it on Switch because, again, not a first party title, so you're just wasting your money. You know, the Switch is for Pokemon, the Switch is for Mario, the Switch is for Zelda. Really, I mean, I think I exclusively play Breath of the Wild and whatever the Tears of the Kingdom. Like, that's it. I play Zelda games on the Switch. I haven't played anything else on that game, on that console. But yeah, back to this is it. This is a fun game. I love that it's true to its original self. The repop mode was just, you know, kind of fun and interesting. The gore mode, I'm going to go back and play again because, like I said, it's got good replayability, and I think that's what really sold me on liking this game, is if a game has replayability. If it doesn't have replayability, it's probably not a good game. But that's all I have for this review. 7.5 from Belmont. And yeah, that's it. Belmont out.